Hello, I am back. It's been a minute, but I'm back. I'm giving a little look today to get into it. I'm gonna give you some time. Choker from GirlStrike, you already knew that. www.girlstrike.com. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tashiann Yasmine. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you haven't been here before. Today we're gonna be talking about relationships.
Spin that bag on me, daddy. Spin that bag on me, daddy. Get it in the back of your caddy. Spin that bag on me, daddy. Spin that bag.
I'm gonna be sharing some things that I've learned, and I'm not an expert, okay? But I'm gonna just be sharing some things that I learned, sharing some things that I wish people would have told me. Let's get into it. The first thing is self-love is the most important kind of love. Because if you don't know how to love yourself, how are you going to not only show someone to love you, but expect someone to love you the way you want to be loved? So before you even get into a relationship, check with yourself first. See if you are fully secure with yourself. See if you really love yourself. See if you really show yourself the love that you're looking for. If you don't love yourself, you might get into relationships that are harmful, that don't serve you, that are toxic. You might settle. So it's important to really go on your self-love journey. And when you love yourself, that shit radiates from you. It's like you can sense when someone loves themselves. So I feel like that either scares some people away or it attracts some people. And most of the time, it attracts the right people. And loving yourself not only helps in your relationships, but it translates in all areas of your life. The second thing is that you attract people on the same energy frequency as you. So this is a concept that I heard about, but I didn't really fully understand it until I experienced it. So for me personally, let me use past tense. I did struggle with insecurities and self-esteem issues, things in that nature. So I attracted someone who also struggled with those things as well. Also understand that people project things in different ways. So one person might project their insecurities onto someone in a totally different way than another person. The level energetically that you're on is going to reflect the person that you attract in the future in your relationships, whether it be friendships, intimate relationships. The universe has a funny way of always holding up a mirror to you with your most intimate relationships. The parts that you don't like of the people closest to you, they usually mirror and reflect parts of you. So the next tip is that whatever people do is a projection of where they are in their journeys, and we tend to sometimes be judgmental, critical of other people. We tend to take the things that people do really personally, or we take the things that people do as attacks and we hold on to them and we hold grudges, or we hate people. Don't judge and don't be so critical, because everyone's on their journey, and just pray that they grow. Just pray that they work through it. Nobody's perfect. Everyone is working on themselves, hopefully. Just take that, know how to place people, know where to put people, and move on. Don't feel so personally attacked. People do to you what they do to themselves. Know that people are projecting their own traumas, their own ignorance. So if they don't love themselves, they're going to project that onto you in various different ways. This one is extremely important. In order to be in a healthy relationship, and the goal for most of us is to be in healthy relationships, whether that be friendships, intimate relationships, relationships with your family members, working relationships, you have to heal your childhood traumas. You have to heal your childhood traumas so you can show up fully in a loving relationship. Because if you don't heal those things, you're going to take them out on people that you love. You're going to take them out on people that you care about, and that jeopardizes you possibly losing the person. That causes relationships that aren't healthy. It causes toxic relationships. So it's definitely in your best interest to go on healing journeys before you even try to go out seeking a relationship. Make sure that you are consistently trying to heal your childhood traumas, your traumas in general, because those definitely affect you and how you show up in relationships. So that's really important. That step should not be skipped at all. If you want to have healthy relationships all across the board, those things have to be looked at and examined carefully and see how you project them into your current situations. And the next thing is, it's important to establish your own ideals about what you want your relationships to look like. With social media, with everyone having an opinion on what a relationship should be, how people should be, sometimes it can feel stifling. Sometimes it can feel like you aren't doing your relationship right because you're not modeling it off of what everyone else thinks. But in actuality, everyone is different. Everyone is living different lives. So you have to establish what you want your relationship to look like on your own terms, regardless of what everyone else is saying. And that you can either do on your own time or you can do it with your partner. But don't just base your relationship off of what you see on social media or what you hear other people say or how other people's relationships are, because they are not you. You are not them. What works for them might not work for you. What works for you might not work for them. Do whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. Do whatever makes your unit happy. If you have an idea of what you want your relationship to be like and you try it out and it doesn't work, that is okay. You can always pivot. You can always change. And sometimes you don't even know what you want your relationships to be like until you're in a relationship and you're trying out different things, you know? And that's okay also, but at some point you have to analyze what you want out of a relationship, so it's easier for you to establish that with a potential partner. You guys can easily see if this is something that'll work for you both, and if not, you guys can go your separate ways. Next tip. This is really important too. They're all really important, clearly, but you have to talk and act in the manner of your manifestations. You have to vibrate on the energy level of what you want to attract, and that includes relationships as well. So I see a lot of people on social media, they repost memes about niggas ain't shit, bitches do this, da 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 da. But then they be like, oh my God, I want a man, I want to go on dates, I want to do this, I want to get married, da, da, da. But then the next breath, be like talking bad about the same people that they're trying to attract. If you want someone that's caring, someone that's loving, someone that's faithful, and then you go on the internet and you talk about all men are dogs, all men are cheaters, men can be faithful, da da da, you don't trust people, da da da, you're gonna attract a cheater. You're gonna attract someone that's not trustworthy. You're gonna attract the same thing that you are talking about. You're not gonna attract what you want. You're gonna attract what you think. If you want somebody to be a certain kind of way, believe that there's people out there who have the traits and the characteristics that you want. And also write down everything that you want in a partner and make sure that you are the kind of person that matches the kind of person that you want. You can't be out here asking for a Porsche with hoopty money. Stop saying men are dogs. If you want a man, stop saying men are dogs. If you want a woman, stop saying women are thoughts. I don't fucking know what people say these days. I said thoughts. I haven't heard that word in a real long time. Let love be the foundation for how you operate in the world. Love should radiate from you. If you truly just move with love, you're gonna attract that. You're gonna attract a pure kind of love because you genuinely give that out in the world. The 9th tip is be careful who you take advice from. A lot of people give advice from their own experiences. Some people, yes, they give advice from healthy places. They give advice from knowledge. Some people give good, sound advice. But a lot of people give advice from their experiences, from their traumas. So they're giving you advice and it sounds good, it sounds reasonable, but in actuality, it might not be the best for you because that's coming from their own hurt. That's coming from their own experiences. You didn't experience what they experienced. Your experience is totally different. So that advice may not work for you. Or it could be just bad advice. It could be just advice that stems from trauma. So be careful who you take advice from. All advice is not good advice. So the next tip is try not to move too quickly when you're entering into a new relationship. New relationships always feel so good when they just start, but you have to be able to differentiate if this person is really who they say they are, or if this person is just pretending or putting on a front, or showing the parts of themselves that they want you to see, or just showing the better parts of themselves. You really have to take your time so you can really see who a person is before you even engage with them sexually. When sex is involved, the dynamic is extremely emotionally tied. So you have to make sure that this person is a person that you genuinely like, that this person is a person who is being themselves, who is being true, who is being genuine. Because people can pretend, people can show you what they want to show you because they might need your energy, they might be filling a void. You never know what people are going through. And the sad thing is that there's people out there who take advantage. There's people out there who don't have your best interest at heart, and they lie and they manipulate. So it's always important to take your time, because you might end up fucking with somebody and then you realize this person is not for you. This person is not, this person doesn't have your best interest at heart. This person is toxic, but you've already gotten intimate. So now you're so emotionally tied that it's hard to take yourself away from the situation. Really just get to know people so that you can see if this is a person that's worth your energy. And then my next tip was that sex is energy, but I kind of already said that, so you get it. But actually, let me expound on that more. Sex is energy. I feel like in today's society, especially in music, especially just like in the media, sex is kind of just willy-nilly to me now. How sex can affect you is not really as talked about as other people's sexual conquest. I've realized that sex is really energy. When you have sex with someone, you can absorb their energy and they can absorb your energy. Sometimes I've heard of people having sex with people and they feel so drained after because the other person was depleted of energy and that person took the other person's energy for themselves. Instead of contracting an STD, you can contract their energy, and their energy might not be the best. Their energy could be negative. Their energy could affect you negatively. So just be aware of that. And the next thing is, if you a boss bitch, if you a boss dude, if you a boss individual and you meet someone, don't change your work habits or your healthy habits that you've created for yourself for someone else. And new relationships are nice, they're fun. Sometimes we get really comfortable and we delay work, or we don't go to work, or we don't do our morning routines, or we don't do our nighttime routines, or we skip things. And that, if we continuously go down that road, it can be detrimental. So even though you're involved with someone new, even though you are embarking on a new journey with someone, make sure that you keep your same healthy habits so that you can still be on your shit and this person doesn't become a distraction. You can have allocated time for your work, and then you can have allocated time for your relationship. So just make sure you keep a balance. Make sure you keep a healthy balance. Make sure that you work on keeping yourself focused and disciplined, even though the emotional intimacy feels really good. Don't do too much and get too lazy and get too comfortable. This one hits home for me. Don't date potential. I've struggled with this because me personally, I understand that everyone's on their journey. I understand that no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. Because I struggle, because I work through things, because I know that I have a lot to learn, I try to give people the same opportunity to grow, even though they might not be perfect, or even though they might not be what I want them to be. If I see that they're working on it, possibly, or if they tell me that they're working on it, I would give them grace. But that has been detrimental to me because at the end of the day, it hasn't really worked out in my favor where people have changed. Yeah. Just don't date potential. You have to date someone for who they are in the moment, not who they could be, because they might not ever get to that person that you thought that they could be. If they're showing effort, that they're willing to change it, then that's good. Then that's you know, continue on that journey. But if you're just out here dating somebody for who you think they could be in the future, baby, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Next tip is that communication is key. If someone doesn't take what you're communicating with them in a manner that you think is acceptable, in a manner that is healthy, then that shows you that they're not good communicators. This might not be the best situation for you. So always be in situations where you feel like it is a safe space to communicate and to speak your mind, because that's how relationships grow. That's how you grow. You're not gonna always like what the other person is doing. The other person is not gonna always like what you're doing. That's either in friendships, intimate relationships, whatever. You have to feel comfortable to talk with that person. You have to feel comfortable to be like, hey, I have a problem with this. So don't be scared to speak up. Communication is very important. If you're scared to speak, if you feel like you can't speak, maybe that's on you. Maybe you need to work on your communication. But if it's the other person that's making you feel a certain kind of way about communicating, maybe talk to them about it. You have to talk to them about it, see if they're willing to change, and if they're not, you might have to just go, because you're gonna have to communicate about things in relationships consistently. You have to be able to take criticism in any kind of relationship. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. Sometimes when your partner or your friend says something, it might sting a little, but if it does sting, that should be an indicator that maybe this is an area that needs some work, or maybe this is an area that you need to take a deeper look at. If you get defensive, you cause people to not want to talk to you, and that's not a healthy relationship. Make sure that you are able to take criticism, but know the difference between criticism and people just wanting to say negative shit. How I tell the difference, if someone says something to me about me and it hurts my feelings a little bit, that usually shows me that this is something that I'm gonna take a deeper look at. I don't automatically have a rebuttal. I sit with it for a little bit. And I think about its validity. And I don't get upset at the person for just telling me their honest truth and opinion, because at the end of the day, that's how they feel, and you have to either take it and work on it, or take it and move on. Believe people when they tell you who they are, and believe people when they show you who you are. A lot of the women like myself that I know, we tend to either think men are joking for some reason, or think people are joking when they like tell us shit. I don't know. But men have, we're not even gonna get into this, but just believe people when they show you who they are, and believe people when they tell you who you are, because at the end of the day, they told you. You just didn't want to hear it, or you just didn't want to listen. A lot of the times when we get out of relationships, we're so angry, we're so bitter, we're heartbroken, we're resentful. And granted, people be doing some shit. But at the end of the day, if this was a relationship where you had really good moments, if this was a relationship that brought you joy, if this was a relationship that brought you maybe a kid or something beautiful, Remember those beautiful moments. Remember that relationship because of those beautiful moments. Try not to be salty about it. Just try to remember the positive experiences that you had, because at the end of the day, this relationship added positivity, well, a certain level of positivity to your life. It added a certain level of happiness to your life. It added something, it added experiences to your life. So be grateful for those experiences. Be grateful for the love that you experienced. Be grateful for maybe the child that you had. Be grateful for the things that you've learned, because we all learn lessons from every experience. Be grateful. I could go on and on. Last but not least, the universe makes no mistakes. Everyone comes into your life for a reason that you might not be aware of in the moment, but they had to teach you some lessons that prepared you for your manifestations, that prepared you for what was really coming to you. Everyone comes into your life for a reason. So think about that and really think about your past relationships or the relationship that you're in now. Think about why God chose that person to come into your life. I'm sure if you think about it, you'll find a reason. So that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got something. I hope you guys enjoyed the look while you was here. If anything resonates with you, please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Check out my website, GirlStrike.com. It's all handmade jewelry. And yeah, until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye. This guy keeps going by with so whenever you're in Whew. I just have to run outside and tell that dude to turn his music down. And I'm tired. There is just noise everywhere. It's like my block is like extra noisy today.